Good morning, everyone. My name is Arafat. I teach history on the textbook platform. So, in this session, let us discuss a very important topic of modern Indian history. That is the Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Sri Swami Vivekananda. So, the topic of today's discussion is Ramakrishna Paramahansa and also disciple, that is his student Swami Vivekananda. So this topic is very important. From this topic, questions could be asked both from films to point. So it could not be the questions could be asked even from the mains point of view, mains examination point of view. So this topic is very important. So many times, in fact, in the past, questions did come from this topic. Even in future, questions may also come from this very topic. So let us start discussing about both of these personalities. So essentially, we discuss about both of these individuals as a part of the socio-religious reform movements, socio-religious reform point, reform movements. Basically, we discuss about both of these individuals as a part of so we discuss about so both of these individuals. Fine. So the first is Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa lived between 1834 to 86. His actual name, his original name is uh, Chattopadhyaya, Gagadhara Chattopadhyaya. He was a priest in a temple. He worked as a priest in a temple located in Dakshineshwar near Kolkata. So he was a priest by was a priest. He worked as a priest at a Kali temple at Dakshineshwar. Kali temple at Dakshineshwar. Good point. So let us discuss a few of the aspects of the personality of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. One is he is known for his religious universalism. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa is known for his religious universalism. The point is, Ramakrishna Paramahansa was he did not have any formal education, but his knowledge of spirituality is undoubtedly unparalleled. Knowledge of spirituality is undoubtedly unparalleled. He basically emphasized on religious universalism. He emphasized on religious universalism. He believed that all the religions of the world are fundamentally one. Believed that the different religions of the world are not different. The religions of the world are not different from each other. They are basically one and the same. Good point. So he recognized the fundamental oneness of all the religions. He always used to say that different religions of the world are merely different paths to reach the same God. Basically, he used to say that different religions of the world are basically different paths to reach the very same God. That was his conviction at the point. So the point is, he did not just preach; he also practiced what he preached with a view to uh, seek spiritual experience. The point is, Ramakrishna Paramhansa sought spiritual experience in diverse religious traditions, including Islam and Christianity. Let me repeat this point once again. He believed in the fundamental oneness of all religions. He believed that different religions of the world are merely different paths to reach the same God, and therefore, with a view to have a spiritual experience, uh, he began seeking spiritual experience in different religions such as Islam and Christianity. He began to seek spiritual experience in different religions such as Islam and Christianity. To seek spiritual experience, he began living with the saints of religions such as Islam and basically he believed that the teachings of almost all the religions of the world are one and the same. He believed that the different religions are merely different paths to reach the. That was his firm conviction. Uh, that was his firm conviction. So he believed in religious unity. Second, the second dimension of his personality was that he was undoubtedly a gem of a human being. Was a gem. So he was a great humanist. He had a great compassion for human suffering. He had great compassion for human suffering. He frequently used to say that yatra jeev tatra shiva. That is, where there is a living being, there is God. Basically, he always used to say that yatra jeev tatra shiva. That is, wherever there is a living being, there is God. That's the point. So basically, he wanted everyone to understand that that it is in the every living being lies the God. Basically, he used this phrase "yatra jeev tatra shiva" to argue that wherever there is a living being, there is God. By which he also meant that in every living being there lies God. By which he also meant that in every living being that uh, lies God. That's the point. So that was his another important. So basically, he was undoubtedly a great humanist. He gave a call to his disciples. Uh, uh, he gave a call to his disciples. He used to teach his disciples that service to man is to service to God Himself. Service to man is a service to God Himself. So he used to he used to uh, encourage his devotees to do service to the people uh, as if they are doing service to God Himself. At a point, that was another important call given by Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So he was undoubtedly a great humanist. Third, he believed in idol worship. He, in fact, advocated idol worship. So basically, in the early 19th century AD or in the 19th century AD, various social reformers of India carried out a campaign against idol worship. So, for example, even have individuals like Raja Ram Mohan Rai who carried campaign against idol worship. But Swami Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa advocated idol worship. He 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 encouraged, not he advocated idol worship. He believed that the idol worship particularly has the capacity of invoking religious fervor among the people and particularly among the masses. He advocated, unlike other social reformers of his time, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa advocated idol worship. He believed that idol worship had the capacity of invoking uh, spiritual fervor among the people and particularly among the masses. At the point, that was his firm conviction. But he was very clear in his mind that merely uh, resorting to ideal worship without emphasizing on the point is he emphasized that intention and spirit behind worship is more important than just focusing on symbols and rituals. Let me repeat this point once again. He advocated idol worship. He believed that idol worship can invoke a spiritual fervor among the masses, but he also clearly emphasized that having uh, right intention and spirit behind worship is more important than merely resorting to uh, rituals, than merely focusing on rituals and symbols. This was his another important uh, teaching. So basically, he advocated idol worship. So the point is, Swami Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa had a number of followers. One of his most famous follower, most famous disciple was Swami Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda. So the most famous disciple of Ramakrishna Paramahansa was Swami Vivekananda. So the point is Vivekananda, it is Swami Vivekananda who popularized the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So it is Swami Vivekananda who popularized the teachings of Ramakrishna Paramahansa. It is Vivekananda who took the teachings of his guru to the world. The point, it is Vivekananda who popularized the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Okay. So let us spend some time discussing about Swami Vivekananda and his teaching. So Swami Vivekananda born in 1860 AD and lived till 1902 AD. Lived only for about 39 years. He lived only till about 39 years. So he was born in 1863, died in 1902 AD. So his actual name is Narendranath Datta, the native of Bengal. So right from his childhood, he was drawn towards spirituality. So right from his early days, Swami Vivekananda was drawn towards spirituality, and in his spiritual quest, he became an ascetic at a very young age. He was drawn towards spirituality right from his early days, and in his spiritual quest, became an ascetic in his early year, in his early years. That's the point. So, in his spiritual quest, he initially joined Brahmo Samaj, the organization which was founded by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. But later, Vivekananda left Brahmo Samaj and became the disciple of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So initially, told you Vivekananda was drawn towards spirituality right from his early days. Uh, Initially, was uh, he he became the member of Brahmo Samaj uh, for his spiritual quest. In his spiritual quest, but later he left Brahmo Samaj and became the disciple of Swami Ramakrishna Paramahansa. That's the point. So let us now take a look at the teachings of Swami Vivekananda. One is like his guru, Swami Vivekananda also believed in religious universalism. Like his guru, Vivekananda also emphasized on the fundamental oneness of all religions. Like his guru, Vivekananda also believed that all the religions and the teachings of all the religions are one and the same. But at the same time, Vivekananda was convinced about the superiority of Indian philosophy, particularly Vedanta philosophy. So he was undoubtedly, he believed in the fundamental oneness of all religions, but at the same time, he was convinced that the teachings of uh, the Vedanta philosophy is much more superior to the teachings of other religions of the world. The point. So basically, he believed that the Vedanta philosophy is much more superior to the other teachings of other religions of the world. At a point. But at the same time, Vivekananda argued that Vedanta philosophy does not belong to the Hindus alone. Basically, Vivekananda argued that uh, Vedanta philosophy does not uh, belongs to the Hindus alone. He argued that it belongs to all the people of the world. So Vivekananda famously argued that uh, the Vivekananda famously argued that the Vedanta philosophy has the capacity to turn an individual into a good human being, no matter to which religion he belonged to. Basically, Vivekananda famously argued that the Vedanta philosophy had the capacity to turn an individual into a good human being, no matter to which religion he belonged to. Basically, he argued that the Vedanta philosophy can make a Christian a better Christian, Muslim a better Muslim, a Hindu a better Hindu. So basically, like his guru, Swami Vivekananda also believed in religious universalism. He believed that all the teaching, he believed in the fundamental oneness of all religions, but at the same time, he was convinced about the superiority of the Vedanta philosophy. But he never argued that the Vedanta philosophy belongs to the Hindus alone. He believed that the Vedanta philosophy belongs to everyone. And he believed that by following the Vedanta philosophy, an individual or any individual can become good human being. So that was his first teaching. That is, he believed, like his guru, he believed in religious universalism. Second, like his guru, he was also great humanist. Like his guru, Vivekananda was also a great humanist. The point. He was greatly disturbed to see the poverty and the suffering of the people. He was greatly disturbed to see the poverty, misery, and suffering of the people. The point. So, like his guru, he also believed that service to man is service to God. He, like his guru, also believed that service to man is a service to God Himself. The point. So, in this context, he made one observation. Take a look at this observation. The only God I believe is the sum of all souls, especially the poor, the afflicted, suffering. The only God I believe is the sum of all souls, especially the poor, the afflicted, and the suffering. Basically, he argued that uh, Swami Vivekananda argued that the best way to serve God is to serve fellow human beings. So he argued that the best way of worshipping God is by uh, serving particularly the people who are in need, particularly the poor, who needs the most attention, needs the attention of the other sections of the society. Basically, he believed, like his guru, that service to man is a service to God Himself. Particularly, Swami Vivekananda gave a task to the educated Indians. Swami Vivekananda gave a task to educated Indians. That is, he said, anyone who is educated at the expense of the poor and ignores their suffering is a traitor. In this context, Swami Vivekananda made one particular observation: anyone who is educated at the expense of the poor and ignores their suffering is a traitor. Basically, Vivekananda argued that it is the educated sections of the society who should take up the responsibility of serving the poorer sections of the society. Vivekananda argued that any educated individual who, if ignores the suffering of the people, who ignores, who does not come forward to do his bit to end the suffering of the people, can be called as a traitor. So this is what so Swami Vivekananda wanted the people who have money, the people who are educated, to actively come forward and do their bit for ending the misery, the suffering of the people who does not. That is, the people, the poorer sections of the society. So take a look at the second teaching of Swami Vivekananda. So, like his guru Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Vivekananda was also undoubtedly a great humanist. He was greatly moved to see the poverty, the misery and suffering of the people. So therefore, he asked the people to rather do service to their fellow beings rather than worshipping an abstract god, a distant god, a god which is not visible to the naked eye. Basically, he gave a call to the people to look for God in the poorer sections of the society and to serve the poor people as if they are serving God. This was a call given by Swami Vivekananda. And particularly, he gave a message to the educated Indians. He wanted the educated Indians to do their bit for ending the misery of the poorer sections of the society. He argued that any Indian who does not take up this responsibility can be called as a traitor. That was his specific message to the educated. So Ramakrishna Swami Vivekananda in the year 1897 started two organizations. In the year 1897, Swami Vivekananda started two organizations. One is Ramakrishna Mutt, the other is Ramakrishna Mission. So Ramakrishna Mutt is a spiritual organization, a spiritual organization. It teaches spirituality on the basis of Vedanta. So it teaches spirituality on the basis of Vedanta. Second is Ramakrishna Mission. The Ramakrishna Mission is a charitable organization. The charitable organization, particularly, it carries out charitable activities. Uh, uh, um, it carries out uh, it carries out different types of charitable activities at a point. So the headquarters of both of these organizations are located at Belur in West Bengal. Belur is a place close to that of Kolkata. So basically, Belur is outskirts of Kolkata, where the headquarters of both of these organizations is located. Kindly remember Ramakrishna Mutt, the spiritual organization, and second is Ramakrishna. So basically, Vivekananda started both of these organizations, uh, named both of these organizations after his guru, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So even to this day, these organizations still exist. They are still very actively involved uh, uh, in carrying out both spiritual work as well as a charitable work. The point. So that's about Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna. Then Swami Vivekananda was also a bitter critic of caste system. He bitterly criticized caste system. So in this context, he made one particular observation. Take a look at it. We are neither Vedantists, nor Puranics, nor Tantrics. We are just don't touchists. Our religion is in the kitchen. Our God is cooking pot. If this goes on for another century, every one of us will be in a lunatic asylum. Every one of us will be in a lunatic. So take a look at this criticism of Vivekananda in relation to caste system in simple terms. So what let us break down this criticism of caste system by Vivekananda. Take a look at the first observation. We are neither Vedantists nor Puranics nor Tantrics. Means that Swami Vivekananda is arguing that the Hindus, particularly the upper caste Hindus, do not truly follow the teachings of Hindu philosophy. They do not truly understand the teachings of a traditional Hindu philosophy. That is what he meant by we are neither Vedantists nor Puranics nor Tantrics. Second, take a look at the other aspect. We are just don't touchists. Don't touchists. Basically, Vivekananda argued that these upper caste Hindus have reduced, have the point is he argued that uh, the upper caste Hindus more focus on avoiding physical contact on the basis of the notion of purity and pollution. So basically, when he said we are just a don't touchist, he basically criticized the aspect of untouchability back then practiced in India. Of course, even to this day, the practice of untouchability does exist, of course, in a much more reduced form now. But the point is, when he said we are just a don't touchist, he criticized the aspect of untouchability that was in existence at that point of time in Hindu religion. Untouchability, untouchable. The point. Third, he said our religion is in the kitchen, our God is in the cooking pot. Basically, when he said, he meant that the Hindu religion is extensively uh, revolves around food rules, focusing more on what people eat and what people do not eat, rather than understanding the deeper spiritual values mentioned in Hindu philosophy. When he said our religion is in the kitchen, our God is in the cooking pot, what he meant was he did not want Hindu religion to be reduced to what people eat and what people do not eat. At a point, he wanted the Hindus to have a proper, deeper understanding of the spiritual values mentioned, spiritual message, the spiritual values mentioned in the Hindu text. That is what he wanted. And fourth, he says, if this goes on for another century, every one of us will be in lunatic asylum. So basically, he said that if the same situation, that is, if people still continue to practice untouchability, people still reduce religion to what people eat and what people do not eat, if such a practice continue to exist in Hindu religion, he said every one of us will be in lunatic asylum. Basically, he's saying that everyone will have to be sent to. Uh, basically, it will. Basically, what he meant was that if such situation continues, everyone think that will create irrationality. That is what Swami Vivekananda meant by the point. So take a look at the the criticism of Vivekananda in relation to caste system. He said basically he opposed untouchability. He did not want religion to be reduced to what people eat and what people do not eat. At a point, uh, he wanted Hindus to have a proper understanding of the true teachings of Hindu religion. That is what he meant by this particular observation. So take a look at one more observation, my friends. Is no use of fighting among castes. What good will it will destroy us all the more, weaken us all the more, degrade us all the more. It was a observation made by Swami Vivekananda. Then Swami Vivekananda also gave a call to the Indians to embrace the world. He gave a call to the Indians to embrace the world. So back in those days, uh, Hindus refused to undertake over the seas travel. They believed that the travel over the seas or travel to other parts of the world would lead to loss of their caste. So the point is, during the ancient and even during the medieval times, Hindus did not uh, they they refused to undertake over the seas travel. They refused to go to other parts of the world because they believed that travel over the seas would result in they losing their caste. So this also began to be find fault with this aspect of the Hindus also began to be find fault by Swami Vivekananda. So he gave a call to the Indians to embrace the rest of the world. He began to find fault with the Indians for isolating themselves from the rest of the world. He criticized Indians. I say Indians, he criticized Hindus for isolating themselves from the rest of the world. The point. He famously argued that it is this tendency of the Hindus to isolate themselves from the rest of the world made them stagnant and mummified. Basically, he argued that it is this tendency of the Hindus to isolate themselves from the rest of the world made them stagnant. That's the point. He argued that it is this tendency of the Hindus to isolate themselves is the basic cause of their degeneration. The basic cause of their degeneration. So basically, he wanted Indians to freely embrace the rest of the world. He wanted Indians to have contacts with the other parts of the world. He wanted Indians not to isolate themselves from the rest of the world. That's the point. So, in this context, he made one particular observation. Take a look at it. The fact of our isolation, the fact of our isolation from the nations of the world is the cause of our degeneration, and its only remedy is getting back into the current of the rest of the world. The only remedy is getting back into the current of the rest of the world. Said motion is a sign of life. Very, very important. Motion is said. Anyone who does not embrace people, ideas, etc., will become stagnant. That's the point. That was another important message given by Swami Vivekananda. So, to carry out his propaganda, Swami Vivekananda wrote a couple of books. He also started a couple of journals. So, for example, he started a journal titled Udbodhana. It was published in Bengali. It was through this journal that Vivekananda carried his propaganda. Propaganda against caste system, propaganda against the tendency of Indians to isolate themselves from the rest of the world. All of these issues, all of these aspects were uh, the propaganda against all of these aspects was carried out by Swami Vivekananda in these journals. One journal is Bodhana, published in Bengali. The other is Prabuddha Bharati. Prabuddha Bharati, published in English language. He also authored numerous texts. So for example, one such text is Vartaman Bharat. Second is Lectures from Colombo to Almora. Third, he is East and the East and so basically he authored numerous texts. These are some of the texts authored by Swami Vivekananda. So the point is Swami Vivekananda attended the World Parliament of Religions organized at Chicago in 1893. So in 1893, World Parliament of Religion was organized. It was organized as a Chicago, and this conference, basically this was a conference, and this conference was organized to commemorate 400th year of discovery of America, because it was in 414 AD America was discovered by Columbus, and in 1893 marked the 400th year of discovery of America by Columbus. Commemorate this event, a World Parliament of Religions was organized, and saints, scholars belonging to different religions of the world were called in uh, to this particular conference. Basically, the scholars, the saints belonging to different religions of the world uh, participated in this conference, and one of those participants was Swami Vivekananda. Of course, many others also went as delegates from India to this particular conference. One of the delegates from India to this conference was none other than Swami Vivekananda. So the point is the speech which Swami Vivekananda had delivered in this conference received widespread applause. The point is this conference, Swami Vivekananda delivered a speech that became viral in a way. The speech of Swami Vivekananda received widespread attention. It drew international attention at the point. So it is after this speech that Swami Vivekananda had delivered that Swami Vivekananda became a household name. So the point is Swami Vivekananda undoubtedly is one of the most popular personalities of India. But at what point of time did he become popular? The point is, it is after this speech of Vivekananda in 1883 that Swami Vivekananda became popular. His speech received widespread international attention at a point. So uh, let us take a look at the speech of Swami Vivekananda. The point. So point is, what did Swami Vivekananda mention in his speech? Very long speech. Let us take excerpts from this particular speech. This is a photograph taken at Chicago during this World Parliament of Religions 1893, to which Swami Vivekananda also attended. So take a look at speech. So let us take a look at some important points highlighted by Swami Vivekananda in his speech. The speech is very, very important. I told you it was after this speech that Swami Vivekananda became a household name. That be the case, we should know the speech delivered by, or at least the, the the important points emphasized by Vivekananda in his. So one point in which Swami Vivekananda emphasized in his is that he declared that he was a proud Hindu. Declared that he was a proud Hindu. At a point, he declared that he considers himself to be a proud Hindu because he argued that Hinduism has taught tolerance and universal acceptance. So basically, he declared that he is a proud Hindu. He declared that he is a proud Hindu because he belonged to a religion which taught him tolerance and universal acceptance. He considers himself to be a proud Hindu because he belonged to a religion which taught him tolerance and also universal acceptance. He also he also argued that he considers himself to be a proud Hindu because Hinduism taught him to accept all religions as true and not just to tolerate them. So he explained why he comes. The point is, he started his speech by addressing uh, the people of America as the sisters and brothers of America. Then thereafterwards, he went on to explain why he considers himself to be a proud Hindu. He declared that he considers himself to be a proud Hindu because he belonged to a religion taught him that which taught him tolerance and universal acceptance. He argued that he believed that he argued that uh, uh, he considers himself to be a proud Hindu because he belonged to a religion taught that uh, uh, which accepts all religions as true, because it is Hindu. He argued that it is Hinduism that accepts all religions as true at a point and not just tolerating them at a point. To argue that Hinduism indeed uh, teaches uh, uh, accepting all religions as true. In fact, to argue that this is what he had learned from Hinduism, he began quoting the shlokas from some Hindu texts. So, for example, he quoted a hymn shloka from a Hindu text that says that just as rivers flow through different paths to reach ocean, all religions lead to the same divine truth. Second, he also quoted a shloka from Bhagavad Gita. God says, take a look at this quote: "Whoever comes to me through any form, I reach them," meaning all paths ultimately lead to the God. So the whole point which I'm trying to convey is, first he uh, considered himself, he called himself a proud Hindu, and he went on to explain why he considers himself as a proud Hindu. Because He declared that he considers himself as a proud Hindu because he belonged to a religion that taught him tolerance and universal acceptance. He declared that he considers himself to be a proud Hindu because Hinduism believes in accepting all religions as true and not just tolerating them. At a point. So it is for this reason he considers himself to be a proud Hindu. Then he went on to explain how India sheltered the persecuted people across the world. Then he went on to explain in his speech how India gave shelter to the persecuted people in different parts of the world. So he gave he made reference to the Israelites, the Jews, who came and settled in India after their temples were destroyed by the Romans. He also explained how the Zoroastrians, who happened to be the natives of Iran, how they came and settled in India after they were persecuted in Iran. So basically, he went on to argue that since Hinduism considers the teachings of all religions to be true, they did not discriminate people. He went on to argue that it is for this reason India gave shelter to people whosoever were persecuted in different parts of the world. And in this regard, he gave examples of two communities of India came and settled in India. One is the Jewish population, the Jews, the Israelites, and second is the Zoroastrian. At a point. This was the second aspect emphasized by Vivekananda in his third. He also criticized sectarianism, bigotry, and fanaticism. At a point. So basically, uh, Vivekananda also highlighted that sectarianism, bigotry, and fanaticism have resulted in violence and caused great bloodshed. At a point. So he hoped that the World Parliament of Religions would end fanaticism. This convention that was organized in 1893 would mark the end of sectarianism, bigotry, and persecution. Basically, he criticized uh, uh, he criticized sectarianism. He criticized bigotry and fanaticism in the name of religion, and he hoped that the convention, World Parliament of Religion, was organized in 1893, marks the end of persecution, uh, sectarianism, and bigotry that were committed in the name of at a point. So that was the hope which he expressed in this particular speech. Fourth, he also gave a call for unity. So basically, he gave a call to the people of all the faiths to remain united. He wanted all the people of the world, no matter to which religion they belong to remain united and to live a happy life. So basically, he gave a call for unity. So the point is, it is this speech of Vivekananda that brought him laurels. It is this speech of Vivekananda that made him a household name. Basically, this speech of Vivekananda was published in front pages of newspapers in America. They were published in front pages of newspapers in America at a point. So, in fact, the New York Herald, in its article, noted Vivekananda. Take a look at this observation mentioned the newspaper, New York Herald, that was published in 1890. Vivekananda is undoubtedly the greatest figure in the Parliament of Religions. After hearing him, we feel how foolish it is to send missionaries to this learned nation. This was what was mentioned in this particular article published in the New York Herald in 1893. So the point is, after this speech, just told you, uh, Swami Vivekananda became a household name upon the request of the people of America. Swami Vivekananda stayed back in United States of America between 1893 to 95. So between 1893 to 95, Swami Vivekananda stayed back in United States, went to different cities of United States, and delivered various lectures. And between 1895 to 97, he went to England and delivered lectures. So basically, it was after this World Parliament of Religions that people from different parts of the world, particularly United States of America and England, uh, began to request Swami Vivekananda to come to their place and deliver lectures. And therefore, between 1890 to 1891, Swami Vivekananda spent his time in United States of America, also in England. He returned back to India only in 1897. So basically, the point is, as a result of all of these lectures of Swami Vivekananda, he began to gather a large number of followers. One such most famous follower of Swami Vivekananda was an Irish lady by name Margaret Noble. So, because of these speeches of Swami Vivekananda, uh, he began to gather numerous followers, numerous disciples. One such famous disciple was an Irish lady by name Margaret Noble. That's a point. So, who in course of time was renamed as Swami Sister Nivedita. So this Margaret Noble only in course of time became popular as a Sister Nivedita. So at 39 years of age, Swami Vivekananda died. He died in the year 19. So after his death, Sister Nivedita took over the leadership of the two organizations founded by Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission. So basically, after the death of Swami Vivekananda in 1902, so Sister Nivedita took over the leadership of both of these organizations. So why did and how did Swami Vivekananda die? So Swami Vivekananda died 1902 at the age of 39. So there are the point is uh, most sources say that he died as a result of natural cause. Uh, some sources suggest that he was suffering from asthma, some breathing related issues, but some suggest that Swami Vivekananda died as a result of a rupture in his blood vessels of the head. Some sources suggest that Swami Vivekananda was in a deep state of meditation that caused him, that resulted in the rupture of blood vessels of his head. It is some sources suggest that due to the intense meditation which was carried out by Swami Vivekananda, a head stroke happened, that is, a brain stroke occurred, resulting in his death. Resulting in his death. So we really do not know the exact cause of the death of Swami Vivekananda. Some sources suggest that he died due to some health-related issues such as asthma and breathing issues. But some other sources suggest that he died due to intense meditation. This intense meditation resulted in brain stroke, resulting in death. But at the time of his death, he was just 39 years old. So these are different aspects of Swami Vivekananda. That's the point. So these were the words attributed to Swami Vivekananda. I am making ready for death. A great tapasya and meditation has come upon me, and I am making ready for death. So this statement of Swami Vivekananda, which was made by him before his death, made some believe that Swami Vivekananda knew very well in advance that he was going to die. So uh, the point is, we really do not know the exact cause of the death of Swami Vivekananda. Some say he died due to some health-related issues. Some sources say that he died due to brain stroke that happened as a result of intense meditation. That's all about this topic. But in case if you have any doubts, you may ask questions. We will end our session and meet in the next class. That's all for today. See you in the next class.